Well, hi folks, into May now, so it's about time I get some stuff planted out. So today I'm going to plant some cabbages, cauliflowers, and I've got 4 different types of lettuce. I was going to do a more extensive video of this, but because I planted all my peas and my banana shallots and all sorts of stuff like that the other day, did a video of it, but for some reason left the video on time lapse, so it looked a bit silly. So anyway, I'll get on, I'll just show you how I plant my cabbages and lettuces and things, and I'll just show you everything else I've planted and what else I've been up to around the plot, doing a bit more renovation and stuff like that. So I'll get on and get this stuff planted and see how we get on. So alright then folks, I've got my cabbages and my cauliflowers here. I'm just going to plant some of these cabbages. These are greyhound, they're a bit of a spring cabbage, so I can plant them quite close together. About a foot apart each way, I think. That's plenty enough, because you can take them as sort of spring greens when they're not too mature. And I've not got a lot of space because I've got to cover them up with the mesh, so we'll get on and plant some of these. So the thing is with a cabbage, they do tend to get a bit leggy, if you see, like that. But what you can do is you can plant them right up to the first set of true leaves, so you can bury all this stem here. So that'll help stabilise it. Bury the seed leaves and plant them right up to the bottom of the first true leaves. I like to plant them out when they've got the second set of true leaves on like that. I don't like to leave them too longer because they can, like I say, get a bit leggy. And cabbages, they do seem to like clayey soil, hard, compact clayey soil for some reason, which is good because this is pretty hard and compact and clayey. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to plonk one in. Gauge it, like I said, bury the stem right up to the first true leaf, which will help stabilise it. And the thing is with cabbages, they like to be, any brassicas, they like to be really well firmed in. So give them a good old firming in. If you have loose soil, they can tend to bolt, especially things like Brussels sprouts. So don't be afraid to give them a good old firming in. So when did I sow these? 22nd of March, so they've had about 6 weeks from sowing, which isn't too bad. So luckily I don't have club root or anything like that. I think there are varieties, there's one called Kilarton or Kiloton, which is club root resistant. The only main pests really are blooming cabbage white butterflies, that's why I always net them off. And also cutworms, leather jackets, they can just, if you've got those in the soil, which luckily I don't seem to have a lot of, they can just sort of nip them off at the top. But other than that, pretty well good to go. Like I say, I'm only planting 10 of these. So that should see as I could take some early and then leave some to mature up. So I'll just do another one. Like I say, you can bury it. I'm burying these a good 2 inches now. So although they looked a bit lanky and a little bit leggy before, now that they've been buried, they look quite strong plants. Not too leggy, and it's quite windy today and they're not blowing about. So we'll get those in, get the cauliflowers in, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end, then we'll get on to the lettuce, and then I'll give you a bit of a tour about, show you what else I've been up to. Alright then folks, that's 10 cabbages there. I've put the little butterfly protection cage around that, and I've just planted 6 cauliflowers there, because I haven't got as much room in this other butterfly protector, so I'm not bothered anyway. 6 cauliflowers is enough for me because they all seem to come at once anyway. So anyway, so that's the cabbages and the cauliflowers, and let's get some lettuce in now. Well, alright then folks, I'm going to get some lettuce in now. I've got 4 different types. I've got multigreen, can, record, which they say is an endive, and good old little gem. Quite small, but I like to get stuff in as soon as it's viable. I don't know how easy these are going to come out of the modules being that small, because the roots might not have filled the modules yet, but we'll see. So the little gems, just going to dib a little hole, plant them to the same depth as the plug, and I'm just going to plant these about 6 inches apart because they're only a small lettuce. See if they come out. Yeah, they've come out. Got decent roots on as well, so they should take quite well. Couldn't be easier. If you've got a dibber the same size as your plug, just dibble her in and jobs are good. So yeah, I'm just going to plant 10 of these and about 8 of every other variety, which is way too many because I'm sowing them every month. So unless I eat 30 lettuces a month, I'm going to have to be giving a lot away. I've swapped seed companies this year because I've had some awful results last year from a certain one that won't be named. So I've gone with Marshalls this year, and everything so far looks to be fantastic. I always thought that they were quite expensive, but then when you work out the amount of seeds you get, you always seem to get a lot more seeds per packet than anybody else. It actually works out cheaper, and like I said, they just seem to be a lot better quality than the last lot I've used. I know there's loads of other seed companies out there that people rave about, but as far as I'm concerned, if you get a duff batch from any seed company, tell them and moan about it, because they've no right to sell you duff stuff. They probably know they're doing it because they must do test sowings themselves just to see how viable the seed is. And I think they just fob people off, especially during lockdown, because everybody was buying seeds whether they've grown or not, so if they had a disappointment, they'd probably just blame themselves when it wasn't their fault at all. So like I said, if you get any duff seeds, any disappointing results, don't forget to moan to your company, because they will refund you, or they should do. They've got a statutory right to, because they shouldn't be selling you rubbish. So anyway, get these in. I think I've got enough room in this bed. I might have to move to another bed to put the rest in. So we'll get all these in and we'll show you what they're like when they're done. Right then folks, that's it. 26 lettuces planted, 10 little gems, 8 multigreen, and I've decided just to plant 4 of the other 2 new varieties that I've never grown before, just for a bit of a trial. No point in growing a load of them if they're going to be horrible, but we'll see how they get on. So yeah, quite a small area. It's only about a yard and a half square, 26 lettuces, so pretty compact planting. So we'll just have a quick wander around now, show you what else I've been up to. Right then folks, just show you what's growing and what I've been doing lately. So I've got the peas in, Hurst green shaft, the ones growing in the gutters. Like I said, I did film them the other day, but I left the camera on time-lapse, so it looked ridiculous. Managed to get all my banana shallots out. Looking far healthier than last year, if you remember, because they were atrocious. So I've got 4 rows in there. There's a lot of doubles and trebles in there amongst them as well as single ones. But so far, looking quite good. A few weeds coming up here in amongst everything, but it'll take me 10 minutes one evening to sort all that out. Onions are doing alright now, perked up. 5 rows of those in. Garlic's all up. I left a few of these clumps in, if you remember, which were just whole bulbs, so we'll see how they get on. Probably just be a load of little tiny bulbs, but we'll see. And these are all the carrots, all coming through now. These are the ones in the 50-litre tubs. All got seedlings coming through. There's a few misfires, or slugs have had them, but the one that's really annoying me is this one. The other night it was full of seedlings, and now there's only 2 in. So something has had the lot. And when I looked the other day, there was a little hole in there, well, a hole big enough for my finger to fit in, and it looked like a mouse. It kept going down and down and down, so what on earth it is, I do not know. So I might set a mouse trap up in there, but I can't see it being a mouse because they're not going to eat little blooming little carrot things, are they? But anyway, we'll see. I'll show you what I've been doing around the polytunnel since we got it up. You see it's nice and tight, so that should be good. Covered everywhere now in this Terran matting. Looks a bit sterile, but I never spend much time around here. It's only around the back of the polytunnel. Got my doors on, if you can see it. Just keeps every weed down. Put some windbreaks up. That's where the lettuce have just planted out. And like I said, the beds are so deep because of all the soil I've added. I think we've got the first emerging potatoes too, look. Yep, the first sprouts of spuds, so that's encouraging. These beds are a bit narrow. And I planted my first spring onions out, it's 20 in there, 20 clumps. And then these are the dwarf peas, meteor they're called, the variety. You can see I've put some pea twigs and pea sticks in amongst them, so they've got something to climb up, but I think they only grow about 18 inches tall maximum, and they get a bit self-supporting eventually. So they should be good. And this bit I've done a lot of work over here now. As you can see, I've sorted all this bit out where all the soil was piled up, completely fixed this bed, bought some new wood, made a new bed out of this. This was just a great big heap of soil, if you remember, where all the polytunnel trench soil was. It was just full of weeds, so I've dug it all over, removed everything, kept a few interesting things like some foxgloves, and obviously my crocosmia and iris and stuff. And this is now my dedicated wildflower bed, so I've put about 10 quid worth of wildflowers in, some butterfly mixtures, cornflowers, oxeye daisies and Californian poppies in there, so that should be quite nice to look at if they come up. And likewise I've made a little path through here, and that's just going to be another little wilderness thing. So this is my bench, so this is what I'm going to do now. I've bought an absolute load of astroturf, or fake grass, and I'm going to cover all this in astroturf because I don't like looking at this. This looks horrible. And all down that side, down the paths and around. Cost an absolute arm and a leg, but this is going to be my main bit where I sit and chill out, where my sweet peas are there, some wildflowers there, my trees and things like that. And once the crocosmia and the wildflowers and the veg starts coming, I want it to look quite nice on the eye, which this stuff doesn't. So like I said, I'm going to get a load of astroturf. It cost me an arm and a leg, but who cares? It's all good fun. So I'll just have a look, just a little look in the polytunnel. There's nothing going on. Like I said, I've put the doors back on. Show you how tight it is. So it shouldn't go anywhere. Not a lot going on. There's only that original bed in there. I think I'm going to grow some French beans in that. And then the other side, nothing whatsoever. I might dig another bed in there. Or I might just grow a few things in pots, but mainly it's just really to somewhere to come when it's raining, and somewhere to store all my tools. But anyway folks, that's about it. I've been doing a lot and things are starting to finally look up. So that's about it folks, planting a bit of stuff and a little bit of a look round, and that'll tell me trees are growing because you can't see the hill over there, look now. That's about it folks, I'll see you later.